You know, if you absolutely love entertaining, but kinda hate that inevitable stress of plating a complicated dessert while your guests are sitting there waiting, well, you're in the exact right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to master an absolute classic. We are making the Golden Bloom Honey Lavender Panna Cotta.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You've felt that familiar pit of anxiety in your stomach right before dessert is supposed to be served, trying to time a hot tart, perfectly scoop some melting ice cream, or just praying that a cake doesn't totally collapse on you. It can completely ruin the joy of hosting. But what if you could serve something that looks like it came straight out of a Michelin-starred restaurant, tastes incredibly sophisticated, and requires literally zero effort when your guests are actually sitting at the table? Well, let's dive into this, because this recipe is going to completely change the way you entertain. To make this super easy for you, here is our roadmap. We'll start with Section 1, an elegant, stress-free dessert. Then Section 2, mastering the silky texture. Section 3 covers the power of honey. Section 4 is our foolproof step-by-step assembly, and we'll wrap up with Section 5, hosting tricks and swaps. Let's get into it.
Okay, Section 1. An elegant, stress-free dessert, demystifying the Italian classic.
So, panna cotta. It translates directly to cooked cream in Italian. And the result we're aiming for here is a silky, floral cream dessert where golden honey is the true star. Just picture that for a second. The richness of heavy cream, the super delicate perfume of lavender, and the complex sweetness of golden honey just melting on your tongue. I know, it sounds incredibly fancy and complex, but the real secret here is that it is wonderfully simple to pull off.
So why exactly is this the absolute ultimate hosting hack, especially if you're a first-time home cook? Well, think about these benefits. It's totally fuss-free presentation, it's served directly in glasses, and there is zero last-minute baking required. Honestly, you don't even have to unmold them if you don't want to. You just bring the beautiful pre-portioned glasses straight out of the fridge and right to the table, which means you actually get to sit down and enjoy the conversation with your friends instead of hiding away in the kitchen stressing out.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, mastering the silky texture, the science behind the wobble.
Okay, so the most intimidating ingredient for a lot of beginner cooks is gelatin. But seriously, there is absolutely no need to fear it. The crucial trick here is a very simple technique called blooming. Blooming gelatin basically just means you take exactly 2.3 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin powder, sprinkle it over 3 tablespoons of cold water in a small bowl, and then you just let it sit undisturbed for 5 minutes. That undisturbed part, that's the real magic word. You're just letting the gelatin slowly absorb that cold water until it gets nice and spongy. Taking this quick 5-minute step guarantees your gelatin is going to dissolve seamlessly into your warm cream later on. No lumps, just that perfect, smooth texture.
4. Now this is a highly important number for this recipe.
4 represents the absolute minimum hours of chill time you need to achieve that signature silky wobble. Remember, a good panna cotta should never, ever be stiff like a gummy candy. It should just gently wobble when you tap the glass, and it should melt instantly in your mouth. You simply cannot rush this chill time. 4 hours is the bare minimum, but honestly, if you can leave it in the fridge overnight, that's even better. Patience is literally an ingredient here.
Let's move to Section 3, the power of honey, and why your choice of honey changes everything. Because this dessert has so few ingredients, the quality and the specific variety of what you use matter a ton.
The honey you pick totally shapes the entire vibe of the dessert. It creates a stark contrast in flavor profiles. Like, if you want something bolder and a bit more complex, a buckwheat honey gives you this deeper, almost molasses-like flavor. But if you want to keep things super light and elegant, you'll want to lean toward a delicate acacia honey or an orange blossom honey. Actually, scratch that. I highly recommend the orange blossom honey because it pairs so beautifully with the culinary lavender we're using, creating this perfectly balanced perfumed finish. It's amazing.
Now, this dessert is an absolute showcase for honey, mainly because we don't just dump it all in at once. We are strategically layering the exact same ingredient to build incredible complexity, and you don't need any advanced cooking skills to do it. Honey is featured in 3 distinct ways. First, it's steeped directly into the hot cream base. Second, it's stirred right through the mixture. And third, it's drizzled raw on top right before you serve it.
And here is a crucial pro tip for you. That final raw drizzle is absolutely key. Why? Because heating honey up too much can actually mellow out those beautiful, delicate floral notes. So by adding that 2 tablespoons of raw honey drizzle right at the very end, you're reintroducing those bright, complex aromatics. It's the secret that makes this dessert taste like it was whipped up by a professional pastry chef. It's a tiny detail, but it makes a massive, massive difference.
All right, so we understand the science of the gelatin bloom, and we've mastered our honey flavors. Let's get into Section 4, foolproof step-by-step assembly, 6 simple steps to panna cotta perfection.
Okay, here is your step-by-step instruction manual for total success. Step 1. Bloom the gelatin in cold water exactly like we talked about earlier. Step 2. In a pot, combine your 2 cups of heavy cream, a half cup of whole milk, a third of a cup of your floral honey, 1 teaspoon of dried culinary lavender buds, and just a tiny pinch of salt. Now heat this gently just until it steams. Do not let it boil. Once it steams, take it off the heat and let it steep for 10 minutes. Step 3. Pour the mixture through a strainer to catch all the lavender buds, then whisk in your bloom gelatin and a teaspoon of vanilla extract until there are absolutely 0 lumps. Step 4. Pour the liquid evenly into 4 greased ramekins or just regular glasses. Cover them with plastic wrap and chill. Step 5. When you're ready, you can either unmold them by running a little knife around the edge or keep it totally fuss-free and leave them right in the glasses. And finally, Step 6. Garnish with your berries and nuts. It really is that straightforward, right?
And finally, let's explore Section 5, hosting tricks and swaps, making it ahead and making it your own. This is where this baseline recipe proves just how incredibly versatile it really is.
3. Now this is perhaps the single most important number for your own peace of mind when you're hosting.
3 represents the number of days this dessert can be kept tightly covered in the fridge before serving. Think about that. You can literally make this dessert on a Wednesday for a Saturday night dinner party. All of the active cooking is completely done days in advance. Then all you have to do is add the fresh toppings right before your guests sit down. The day of party stress is completely 100% eliminated. Now, maybe you or a few of your guests just aren't huge fans of floral flavors and you want to skip the lavender entirely. No problem at all. Check out this simple ingredient swap. Instead of using the 1 teaspoon of dried culinary lavender buds, just swap that out for 1 teaspoon of fresh lemon zest and steep that in the cream instead. It instantly transforms the whole dish into this really bright, citrusy version of the exact same perfect, wobbly dessert.
And this brilliantly illustrates how easily you can accommodate dietary restrictions too, without sacrificing the integrity of the dish. Say you have vegan guests, it's an easy fix. For the dairy, just swap out the 2 cups of heavy cream and the half cup of whole milk entirely for full-fat coconut milk. And then for the binder, instead of the 2.3 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin, just use 1.5 teaspoons of agar-agar powder instead. It is just such a wonderfully accommodating recipe.
Okay, finally, presentation is everything. To finish off your masterpiece, scatter about half a cup of fresh blueberries or raspberries right around the base and add a little sprinkle of 3 tablespoons of toasted nuts. Walnuts or pistachios work wonderfully here. Those toasted nuts add this lovely, crunchy textural contrast against the extreme creaminess of the panna cotta, and that slight tartness of the fresh berries cuts beautifully right through the rich honey.
So the real question is, are you ready to transform from an anxious cook into a truly confident host? You now know the science of the gelatin bloom, the secrets of honey layering, and the ultimate make-ahead hosting hacks. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Get out those ramekins and ask yourself, now that you've totally mastered the panna cotta, what other intimidating restaurant classics are actually this incredibly simple? Have fun and happy cooking.